There are tons of equipment in Clash of Clans now, but we don't nearly have enough ores for all of them. Therefore, YouTubers like myself will always tell you to upgrade equipment for specific armies that you're using. Well, what if you don't have a normal army that you're using? What if you just want to spend your ores on equipment and not think about it too much? Well then, this video is for you because in the next 8 minutes, I'm going to break down the most versatile pieces of equipment that are good for all situations, no matter what situation you might find yourself in. In fact, I'm so confident about this that I'll even make you a deal. This video is going to have the 6 most versatile pieces of equipment, and if you can guess all 6 in the right order, I give you permission to DM me one question about my life, any question at all. Now, without a doubt, the most versatile and powerful piece of equipment in the game comes with the Grand Warden. This equipment applies to any army, makes your army so much stronger, and is literally worth every single piece of ore that you're going to put trying to upgrade it. In fact, I've said this before, but this equipment should have been a legendary piece of equipment. It is just way too strong and thus has a near 100% usage rate by all players. Even a baby who was born yesterday and just picked up the game could recognize the importance of this equipment. So for all of you that are guessing, if you said the Eternal Tome, you would be correct. But let's be honest, if you didn't say the Eternal Tome, well, I'm glad you're here because you need this video the most. Moving on, the Barbarian King has some pretty nice pieces of equipment currently, but by far this one has to be the most important. And that's not just because it's epic, it's because it can be used with almost any and every army. And of course, yes, I'm talking about the Thanos Mitten. The damage reduction allows the king to tank a lot of damage, and the DPS increase and splash damage helps the DPS quite a bit. Thus, both roles of the king are fulfilled with this equipment. The role of a tank and the role of a damage dealer. The role of exploring space is not fulfilled though, but honestly, I don't know if there's any piece of equipment that will help you with that. So the Giant Gauntlet is the second most versatile piece of equipment, and I would recommend any player who's playing casually to go ahead and upgrade it. Okay, but those two were really easy. What about the 4 that are left? Most of you are probably thinking that you got the guessing game in the bag right now, but this next one might go ahead and stump you. That's because the next most versatile equipment was recently promoted due to the addition of both the Haste Vial and the Hog Rider puppet to the game. Ironically, it is neither of these equipment, but rather it is the thing that makes them whole, the friends that they made along the way, otherwise known as the Royal Gem. Now, the Royal Gem doesn't dominate in anything. It's not the most talked about or the most hype piece of equipment, but it gives the Royal Champion so much health regen and DPS, as well as gives synergy with the other 2 pieces of equipment, making it one of the safest things to upgrade. Think about the Royal Gem like eating a healthy meal. You just go ahead and trust the process. No matter how much you hate that salad, and you tell your friends not to order it for you, but they still go ahead and they're gonna order it for you. And then on top of that, it was super expensive too, so like why? Look, all the meal drama aside, the Royal Gem is really good, especially if you're a casual player. Not to mention, it's an OG piece of equipment, so hopefully you've already got some unintentional levels onto it. Alright, for the guessers that are 3 for 3, I'll give you a hint for the next one, and it is the hero that we haven't talked about yet. And yes, if you're thinking about the newest, chillest, and slowest piece of equipment in Clash of Clans right now, you'd be correct. Because next on the list we have the Giant Arrow. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong one. The Frozen Arrow for the Queen. Now, I've already gone over a few times how the Frozen Arrow scales very linearly, and thus I think it's worth waiting on trying to max it, but the equipment works really well in almost any army composition, especially in Queen charges. But one of the key things that makes this equipment super versatile is that it pairs well with any other piece of Queen equipment, and thus it makes a casual player's bread and butter for the Queen. The reason it's not higher on the list is because it gets really expensive and doesn't scale as nicely as the other pieces of equipment. Alright, so the next 2 pieces of equipment were a little bit harder to pick than the first 4, but I'm pretty confident about them. And just to make the guessing game a little bit easier, I'll redefine my criteria. This is a list of the most versatile pieces of equipment, meaning those equipment that can fit the most armies and almost anyone can upgrade and benefit from upgrading them, regardless of what they're using. The next most versatile piece of equipment is a piece of equipment that I'll have to get through really fast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's hot, It's new, it's on all of Itsu's charts, it is the haste vial for the Royal Champion. Now at this point we know what this equipment can do. It turns the Royal Champion into Usain Bolt and a Gatling gun at the same time, a combination that few people predicted in Clash of Clans. But beyond the DPS increase, the attack speed increase, and an active ability that put the Seeking Shield into retirement for any foreseeable future, there's something that we can't ignore about the haste vial. Guys, it takes almost no skill to make the most of. You could come home after a long day of work, attack with a piece of fried chicken in one hand, and probably wipe out a compartment with this piece of equipment on. Whether you're a casual player or a pro, the haste vial is super hyped up, and for good reason. This thing can quite literally obliterate a ton of bases. The only reason it's not higher than the Royal Gem is because it cannot be used with the other pieces of Royal Champion equipment and thus has worse synergy. And therefore the haste vial is the 5th most versatile piece of equipment in Clash of Clans. But with all of that out of the way, we're getting to the last piece of equipment. A lot of you are looking like this right now, but the last piece of equipment might be the one to stump you. Could it be the Rage Vial for the Barbarian King, increasing its speed and synergizing with the Giant Gauntlet? Could it be the Invisibility Vial, dealing tons of damage in a short burst of time with the Queen? Or perhaps it's the Healing or the Rage Tome, which benefit the entire army? Well, in my opinion, the correct answer is actually going to be revealed after the sponsor of today's video. I'm completely joking, guys, but if we do consider the equipments that were mentioned, the Rage Vial is great, but there are a lot of scenarios where the Vamp Stash might be the right option. The Healing and Rage Tome are also good, but they're split across different armies, not to mention that the Life Gem also gets some use as well. Therefore, the most versatile piece of equipment out of the last few is the Invisibility Vial in my opinion. Even though the Archer Puppet does put in work and works for some armies, I think the Invisibility Vial is almost always a safe option, and for most casual players, this piece of equipment can supplement any army really well. Now for those of you that guessed a piece of equipment wrong somewhere along the way, or you got the order wrong, please know that you'll have more challenges to fulfill later on. And you can always leave me a comment because I'm really amazing about responding to all of those comments. I mean guys, just take a look at the background right now. On a real note though, we are going to be doing another Discord giveaway once we hit 2,000 members on the server, and as you guys can see, we are really close, so make sure you guys go ahead and join the Discord server in the description down below. On the other hand, for those of you that got all 6 correct and you got them right in the correct order, you can go ahead and ask me one question about my life on Discord, not about what to upgrade next, please. Also, please let me know why you're asking me these questions so I don't think that you're trying to scam me. You know what is a scam though? Investing ores into equipment and not getting a lot in return. You guys see what I did there? Well, if you didn't see what I did, you can right here, where I look at whether or not maxing the Frozen Arrow is worth the ore investment, as well as what level you should upgrade your Frozen Arrow to. Man, these segues are getting so good.